Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's wait for the source to jump into life. Welcome to Apex Online, and welcome back to Project Cars 2. There we go. Thank you. That was good fun. For those of you unacquainted, my name is Eike Sky. I'm currently hosting the multi-class GT1 and Group A racing series, also on Apex Online. And tonight we're going to be covering the Tier 2 GT3 races tonight. Demon Tweak's Lamborghini of Juice already out on track. In fact, most of the grid already out on track, and some already getting grid place penalties, assumingly for, yes, pit lane violations. That didn't take very long, did it? For what it's worth, welcome to Watkins Glen in the United States of America. We are absolutely ecstatic to be here as we look forward to what looks to be a very close and competitive championship. 24 drivers currently taking part. This includes a couple of reserve drivers, if I remember correctly. Drivers all going around on their warm-up lap, as we would be expecting. Not a lot of weaving and warming up of tyres, he says, as there's an Audi in the background there, which is... what is that, the Renault? Weaving backwards and forwards. Where's the Lamborghini? That is going to be one of these people who is using three-letter short names, which, dear God, sometimes it gets fun. Mercedes jumping off to the left very quickly. There you go, Thomas D jumping around on his warm-up lap now. Oh, we have Phantom Hamster, someone who is also partaking in the GT1, the FIA GT Championship races. It was Wagner having a moment to himself. Calibrate his thoughts, get out onto the start-finish straight, and start a flying lap. Through turn 1 and 2. Down the back straight, through the inner loop. Hauling out the anchor. Quick right then left, left then right. Almost akin to how the old bus stop chicane at Spa used to be. Watching some old races there, and very much missing the old bus stop chicane. Of coming down into the chute. All of this being downhill. And then haul out the anchor for the toe of the boot. Through the dip. Massive amount of compression through the suspension through here. Up over the very long crest. Along the straight of the boot, and now into the right hander of the heel. Just a touch to balance the front end. Square left through the second to last corner, and a square right to finish off the lap. This will put Wagner a fairly steady lap, nothing too out of the ordinary. Comes across the line and puts him 16th for the time being. Meanwhile, Enton apparently having connection issues. It looks like That's a shame for him. So the preliminary punches have been thrown in this GT3 battle, and top of the leaderboards thus far by almost a second is Stephen Carey. Obviously very happy in that Ferrari, you can tell by the sound of it. Oh, Lamborghini. Yeah. Shows how long it's been since I've played with GT3s. Second will be Juice. Third will be Devil. Fourth will be Breznicek. Fifth will be a Russian name I'm not even going to dare pronounce. Stevie has just been displaced by P-Lock. Down to 8th, but with a grid place penalty. The first of our penalties, obviously, for crossing the line on the exit of the pit lane. And you can see the rest of the orders. Only Ringman in the pits thus far. No, P-Lock has retired to the pits as well. So they still have 8 minutes to get their times in. An enormous slide from Stephen Carey there. And his tyres obviously ruined. This is going to be problematic if this driver is going to be this close to the front. Ticklewish Picklewickle. That name never gets boring, mate. Jumps up to second. See how long we can. Nightbot seems to be going a little bit hyperactive tonight. It's interesting. And there's quite a bit of derangement. A lot of the cars obviously not quite happy with their setup for whatever reason. Some of the that Porsche we've seen a Mercedes with some damage. Now Janetta's not looking too first-hand either. Very happy to see a Janetta in the championship though. Fantastic little cars and very, very good in a straight line. Although that Lambo, that Janetta's not sounding too well, mate. Ince, an old favourite. Screaming Lamborghini with a screaming Ferrari behind him. That'll do nicely. We'll take that. That was an enormous slide from Nins there. The Lamborghini having, if I remember correctly, no adjustment available on the nose as far as downforce is concerned, so you're very much stuck with what you're given and you have to make the rest of the setup work around it. A lot of people, last time out, if I remember correctly, it did end up working quite well. For whatever reason, having that fixed point, a lot of the Lamborghinis had very stable platforms with which to push for championships. Nint's looking to put his name a little bit further up the grid for the start, and does so. 5 places up. 7. I can't count. It's been a long day. 7 places up to 9th, now in the top 10. That'll put him 5th row of the grid. I can see potential for a placement like that, with Nintz being the quality that he is. Ticklewish Picklewickle, it looks like he's really pushing hard. In a Janetta. Fantastic to see. Lap time's been invalidated what looks like 3 or 4 times on the trot. He's got the lap that counts in, but unless he's got a different setup for the race, not exactly a repeatable performance. So he's dialed it back a bit by the looks of it. Everything was well within limits for what we've seen so far, unless he's just trying to push out. Unless he's trying to just push out, see where he can make more time in the lap, in the 4 minutes that remain. To do is find out who that third place car is. In the 59 McLaren, does he have anything more usable on the forums? Gromazeka, number 59. Yep, Gromazeka. That won't be a challenge to remember in the slightest. Oh, that was an enormous slide coming out there. That was just exiting the boot by the looks of it for that 51 Ginetta. Explains the invalidated lap times from before. Nintz has accrued himself a grid place penalty as well, because he exited the pit lane in an unsafe manner. A lot of new people that I don't recognise the names of here. This is going to be an interesting race to see how they go. 2 minutes left of this session. Looks to be stabilising quite nicely, actually. Of course, remember, qualifying is just that, qualifying. It doesn't have any bearing on the race. And if we look at what's happened in the past when it comes to the GT3 League especially, it has absolutely zero bearing on what happens in the race. Looking forward to hearing the cars come around that first corner for the first time. This has been a while coming. Who else do we have? Block in an Hot Wheels Audi. Good livery choice there. I love that. So people are starting, by the looks of it, yeah, we've got 30 seconds left in the session, are looking to try and get their race setups going. Always good to be prepared, especially with an hour's race. Well, I don't know. I don't know how these GT3 cars run around Watkins Glen, unfortunately. I've not... It's been a while. But I'm thinking that we're gonna have to have possibly a pit stop. Just checking now. It looks like we don't have a mandatory pit stop. And Deuce has given up on that lap. Oh no, he's completed the lap. I'm trying to look up numbers. Our Russian friend is giving up on that. Atlas Guerin in the Renault seems to have completed his laps, so we're looking like Brezenchik running around the Porsche, about to come across the line. Can he do any better than the fourth row of the grid? No, by the looks of it. And lastly will be Moto X. Good name, sir. Coming across the line in 16th. So your starting order, before penalties of course, will be stolen from us. There we go. So Stephen Carey, Tickle Wish Pickle Wickle, our Russian friend whose name I've already forgotten, Anton, Deuce, Psycho, Atlas Guerin, Brezenchik, Nintz, Pelock, Phantom Hamster, Devil, Steve, and Andu, VLC, Moto X, D Jesse, Thomas D66, Alien, by the looks of it. Here we go. Yeah, D Jesse's been pushed down because of his two-place penalty. Ringman, Lonya, Wagner, Jack Game, and Claes Lambo bringing up the rear in 24th. That's absolutely fine. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Apex Online Racing rolling start, it's fairly simple. So, in this standing start, all of the temperatures are to what Project Cars expects the drivers to want. So all of the tyres will be up to temperature, all of the engine components and everything will be up to temperature for the race start. Now, I don't know about all of the drivers here, but personally I tend to run with a slightly cooler setup. It makes the tyres last longer, it makes the fuel last longer. So what we will do is the lights will go green on this session, 1 out of 35 laps, and then they will carry out a warm-up lap essentially, and then at the end of that one warm-up lap they will form up just before the last corner, if I remember correctly, and then we will have a rolling start. So the drivers are all getting set up ready. This wide view is just... it's going to be amazing when we there we go. It's going to be amazing when we see the cars come down in anger. For now, it's a little bit too long. Enormous wheel spin for Tickle Wish Pickle Wickle off the grid in second place, and immediately they're getting to warming the tyres up, making sure all of their bits and pieces are in order. Number 10. With what looks like a very Audi customer racing livery. with Hot Wheels tattooed all over it. Really interesting. I've not seen that in the real world yet. Number 50, Ferrari of VLC. Taking it fairly easy by the looks of it. Just riding the brake just to get some heat into them. A fairly well-paced warm-up lap by the looks of it. Cars scattered about. In a couple of minutes time we are going to see all of these GT3 cars pile into turn 1, fighting for every position they can get to, and I'm not going to be able to keep up. I'll try and keep up on the cameras. And you'll have to add your own commentary for that first corner. This is a brand new championship with brand new drivers in some cases. Some being promoted from Tier 3, and others, as stated, first time in this championship, so they won't know what to expect either. So are they going to go hell for leather? Are they going to go for those gaps up the inside? Or are they going to do the slightly nicer thing and they're not forming up very well. Stephen Carey really needs to slow the pack up a lot, and he has done. Very well done. As there is a massive gap. Oh no. Why is that camera stuck there? I think we have a good grid formation now, so we're going to jump to the front of the grid as they come towards the starting line. The flag will be in the air, and when we hear the Lambo accelerate away, there it is. We are go for the GT3 League round 1 at Watkins Glen. A very, very well-paced start by the looks of it. All getting a little bit messy in background, but everybody's made it through turn 1, playing very, very nice. Well done all. That's a lovely livery on Ringman's Porsche as well. With Jesse slipping back slightly. There's a Porsche on the grass behind of Jack Game, who's going to try up the inside of the Audi, get nowhere near it. Just trying to make his way around the Lamborghini. Jumping further up the grid, there is absolute chaos, as always with these GT3 leagues. They are just so well balanced. Up in the lead towards the front of the race, Enton is putting the Russian under a bit of pressure. Meanwhile, has got Juice behind him, looking for that gap. The Demon Twigs Lamborghini once again looking like a fantastic platform. Hopefully that little glitch there for Enton isn't going to be indicative of what's going to be going on throughout the race. And a train of cars. 3 within the same second. Stream across the line. You don't know where to look in these early laps. Everyone and everything will be going crazy. That is a Jesse in the pits, probably a setup wrong or next to no fuel. Everyone just line astern, as we always see with these sim races. Everyone's got their head screwed on. They know they're not going to win the race in the first lap. There's Demon Tweaks. Thomas D going in. No, it's not Demon Tweaks. Lamborghini nonetheless. Looking like he's a little bit slow. With that 911 haunting his rear view camera, I think it would be in the Huracan. Yeah, because there is no window there at all. Oh, someone's having issues at the back here. That was Monya. Getting a bit of oversteer, looking like it coming out of the boot. Enton has gone into the pits for... not sure if that was tyres or damage. Looked like it wasn't long enough for tyres, surely not. That's a beautiful move by Wagner up the inside of Ringman to take 19th through turn 1. Just securing the place down the back straight. That Mercedes really is a weapon down the chutes. Oh, who has... oh, Devil has spun. That looks to be a large amount of damage as well. Just heard the engine rev up. Got it very wrong in the inner loop. Oh, and going very wide as well. Still trying to push to save his places. What else is there? Oh, BMW M6. Very nice undo. It's a very pretty livery as well. Well chosen. Jump up towards the sharper end of the grid, and we have a veritable train of Atlas Guerin, Psycho, is who our camera is on, Brezenchik, and Mintz. It looks like that Renault is a very slippery car along the straights. Maybe that's what's causing the slight train effect. Running a bit of the lower downforce so that he has the advantage down the straights, and then lumping it out, yeah, through the corners. The Renault RS01, the only car in the field to boast 7 gears. In case you didn't know that. It's also a very pretty car for what it is. What's going on with Mjolnir? We'll get the name right by the end of the season, I promise. Hunting down, it looks like Ringman. Weirdly having some pace troubles in that Porsche. Unless he's concerned about fuel, perhaps. Doesn't look like it though. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fuel there. Jack Game just keeping P-Lock in focus. Oh, and into the wall hard on the final corner. Just a kick of oversteer from that Porsche. He must be running a very low downforce setup to get a kick that big. And he's going to lose a place for that mistake by the looks of it, unless he's going to defend into the first corner. No, nowhere near enough performance left. Oh, that's such a shame for Jack. A name that I don't recognise in this championship, but good tasting cars, absolutely. And what we've seen from him so far was good. As Andu hunts down the Ferrari VLC. See what that thumping great V8 in the front of the M6 can do, and that is a spin for Nintz. What has he done? Nintz has got a second penalty, I would assume, for corner cutting. Jag Game has been disqualified. That's interesting. Nintz also having an enormous spin, so maybe he got up the inside of the car he was chasing. Behind him, Plock and Thomas are having a battle, perhaps forced upon Pelock by that spinning Lamborghini rejoining. Like that place is fairly much gone. Andu still has the Ferrari VLC in his sights. Looks like that charge may have dwindled just slightly. Maybe he's just trying to get some air into the brakes and the engine to stop some overheating. Come back to this battle over 5th, 6th and 7th. The gap now way, and that is a massive spin for Brezenchik. Did he manage to keep out of the wall? It looks like... oh, that was... Now he's facing the wrong way, and our camera is a good job we have this chase camera, because otherwise there's no way in hell we could have seen that. That was... wow. First race blues, obviously, and now Nintz and Brezenchik are back together. Nintz with the second penalty, however, so if Brezenchik can get the 2.5 seconds back, or maybe the Audi of Pelock behind him can get the 2 seconds back, that's basically a free place without having to make an overtake. Devo, however, good name. We like that. Definitely putting some pressure on Phantom Hamster in the NSX. Oh, and is that Phantom Hamster having a bit of an oversteer problem in the NSX? I daren't say. Out onto the back straight. Phantom not yet feeling the pressure. Really comfortable coming through the inner loop at the moment, but defending now, going down the hill towards the boot. Now he's defending. Just that slightest twitch, that hint that he's looking in the rear view mirrors, and now he's going to be starting to feel the pressure. That Ferrari squirming under braking. How's he doing as far as the assists are concerned? He's running traction control and ABS. Oh, and into the wall goes Steve-O. The NSX of Phantom Hamster slow off the second to last corner, and suddenly a very different complexion with VLC Andu and Nintz. Nintz going up the inside now of Andrew, trying to recover from that previous spin. The Lamborghini is very quick in a straight line, but I don't think it's that quick. Maybe it is under braking though. There we go, the job's done. I think Andu may have just let that go ever so slightly. Nintz is from slightly further up the grid, and having that draft may end up pulling him past VLC, which is a great tactic if he can make it work. Bit of a twitch from Nintz there under braking. Oh, a little bit too tight coming down the outer loop. Through the chute. A lot tighter to the apex than the BMW behind, but maybe that's what works. Lamborghini on Ferrari. We've not seen this before at all, have we? Just having a peek up the inside, trying to put VLC off his game, make him defend. Beamer outbraked himself. Nintz very confident with the width of his Lamborghini there. And how much better is it in a straight line than a Ferrari? Not as good as it is compared to a BMW. But he's close enough that that is definitely going to be a worry in VLC's wing mirrors. Just having a look around the rest of the grid. There's Tickle Wish Pickle Wickle in the Ginetta. Third place, looking to take that silver trophy from the Russian. Meanwhile, Deuce is only 1.7 seconds behind. Still definitely within arm's reach. Gap just gone out ever so slightly now. That's a very low thud from that Ginetta. It's very, very rhythmic. Around the outer loop. Oh, that sounds good, that does. Psycho currently looking at the back of the Renault again. Kind of status quo, really, that, yeah. What isn't status quo is Nintz getting in front of VLC. And that BMW behind of Andu is looking to apply some pressure as well. Meanwhile, VLC is looking how he can gain back that place on Nintz, and it's not going to happen, mate, not unless Nintz makes a mistake, and I don't think that's going to happen either. He's had his statutory one mistake per race. The BMW goes very wide through the... that's not the chute, is it? Yeah, it is the chute. Ignore me. Camera angle's getting me. Oh, VLC has gone super wide. That's going to ruin any chance of him catching back up with Nintz now. He falls out of that magic second window. and potentially into the grasps of Andu behind. Front engine, rear wheel drive GT car versus mid-engined, rear wheel drive supercar, I think is the only way to describe that 458. 488. They look very similar, one's turboed though. And who's getting within that window again? He might possibly push the button. Another person pushing the button yet again. Enton is just staring at the back of Wagner to Mercedes, so they're not going to want to be too harsh with each other. Enton looking to go around the outside of Wagner. It's not going to happen coming in. Oh, coming through the S's. Yeah. Through the inner loop. It looks like Wagner's just holding on to his car a little bit more than Enton is. Enton's able to make those apexes and let the car drift out, as opposed to Wagner, who looks like he's just struggling to get the nose in. Just a bit. And a massive lock-up from Wagner by the looks of it. Is he running? I think that might be lying to me. It looks like, yeah, Jace is just getting within that danger zone as well. A massive twitch from Enton on the second to last corner. And down the inside, that was an absolutely enormous move from Enton. I doubt Wagner even saw that coming. Will he now be able to march off into the sunset after P-Lock for 11th place? It looks like it. He does look ever so slightly happier in his Mercedes than Wagner is looking at the moment. Andu, meanwhile, staring squarely at the back of that Ferrari and wanting to be past it. Opens out on the straights, and then we get to the corners. I'm gonna look away and maybe he'll make some more progress. Tickle-wish pickle-wickle. Trying to offset that tenor of the Lamborghini with the soprano. Oh, it's beautiful thud that sound that car makes. Just slowly, surely eking his way closer to the back of that Lamborghini. As many a commentator has said, catching one thing, passing another. But nonetheless, and that's done. Does Lamborghini make a mistake over the crest? Missed that. Sorry, I'm looking at numbers again. And that is second for Tickle-wish pickle-wickle. Third. Numbers. Can he pull away? Lamborghini's not giving up the fight yet. It looks like it might. The Ginetta might just have the legs on it. We'll come back to that fight in a minute. This fight, it just doesn't seem to. This is going to be an all-race thing. This one, however, Jack Game staring at the back of P-Lock in that Audi RRA. Just lets him past. Either that or P-Lock is struggling that much to keep it in a straight line. Yeah, that looks like he's struggling to keep it in a straight line. Gonna drop into the pits and fall even further down the grid. I will keep on coming back to that battle to see if it resolves itself. Meanwhile, Wagner looking like he's looking at the back of Jesse with some intent, and that is a Porsche of Jack Game, significantly shorter than it was at the start of the race. That is going to be a fairly second-hand looking car by the end of it. Meanwhile, Brezenchik looking at the back of Thomas D. Lamborghini is going to have the legs, but the Porsche is absolutely demon through the corners. They always have been. That engine hanging all the way out the back, I believe it still is in this model. Yeah. Brezenchik has got so much in his reserves that he can just leave it up the inside going down into the heel of the boot, toe of the boot. That is a crazy amount of performance to have in hand. Jack Game is now in the pits. God, it took him a while to get around there. Lonya diving to the inside to let what looks like one of the leaders past. Yeah, that's going to be what that was. Awesome, well played, very good driving. Meanwhile, Brezenchik appears to have gotten past. Yes. See, I'm leaving at all the right times to let these guys get past off camera. Slightly further up the road by 14 seconds is Stevo and Wagner. Thumping great German muscle car versus another very, very light, tiptoey ballerina shoe of a car. That is Andu, who has had an off, that car looking significantly worse upware than when we first saw it. Ticklish Pickle Wickle as well has dropped well down the order. That Ginetta perhaps getting the better of him. In the GT Endurance Championship, he's normally very talkative when it comes to the end of the race, so I wouldn't blame him if he jumped in to have a chat about that. Staring in the back of Phantom Hamster. We've seen a lot from these two in several of our championships. And if there's nothing else, their battles are always firing. Apart from now, because Phantom Hamster has pitted, because he just doesn't like fighting apparently. However, he's jumped on just behind Nintz. So another fantastic battle we have to look forward to. Once these two leave view. Oh, that's wheel spinning on the back. Gotta be careful, you'll get a penalty for that. Meanwhile, these three, Nintz, Phantom Hamster and Jesse, look like they are having an interesting time of it. Who was that we just saw getting lapped in the Ringman? There we go. Just jumping out of the way in that 911 Porsche. Phantom Hamster just waylaid slightly by the by lapping that Porsche as well. Psycho is still chasing that Renault. Just trying to get in front. I wonder how much he's using his tyres up. He's got more than enough fuel. Keep this going if he wanted to. Just jumping down to Jesse, who is putting pressure on Nintz. Two Lamborghinis going at it. Fantastic to see, and that is progress that has been made by Jesse. And potentially this is going to be 7th place for him as well. That was very wide though. It does happen over that crest through the S's. And that's the downside of not being able to adjust the downforce on the front of the car. You can't plan for that. Just following, I'll keep an eye on that for the time being, and knowing my luck, the pass will be made by the time I come back to it. Just look back a little bit where Steve-O in the Ferrari is putting pressure on Thrustmaster in that yellow NSX in front. Ferrari looking a little bit deranged from the spin that we saw him have earlier. Oh, and that was Phantom Hamster understeering into the wall on the final corner, which gifts the place to Steve-O there. Meanwhile, we come back to that is still line astern. That's absolutely fine. Meanwhile, Andu, the man that was putting pressure on a Ferrari earlier, now getting hunted down by a Porsche. Of Brezenchik. Porsche's looking very comfortable in the wake of that enormous BMW as well, which is, don't get me wrong, an absolute feat. Whenever you get under the back of the cars around here, they do go light on the front end. Just when he needed it, that BMW jutted in front of him. And the dive is there. Is there contact made? No. Andu gives Brezenchik room, knowing that the road is going to come back to him if he can just stick it out, and he does. But that hasn't quite opened up a place into the second to last corner. And now Brezenchik has to wind it all up and get himself psyched up again for it. Phantom Hamster's not given up on the old Steve-O battle. Oh, okay. The conflict between Nintz and Jesse has resolved itself, with Nintz putting his foot down a bit harder. Psycho now close as he's ever been to the back of that Renault. Coming up to lap traffic as well. It's not going to hurt Psycho's chances at all. Taking a slightly later apex. Sticking on the racing line. The Renault's going to run out wide to block him off through the apex. Brezenchik still struggling to get past the BMW of Andu. Enormous wings sticking out the back of these GT cars, Grand Tourers. Porsche maybe not so much. It's definitely the best way to go racing. If there was anything to go by, puts his nose in, Brezenchik does, just up the inside of that BMW, but has to abort. I wonder if Andu's gotten tired of having that Porsche in his rearview mirror. Not yet, it seems. Still happy to cut across the nose of him. What's up with Jack Games in that absolutely wrecked Porsche? Oh, it looks so much wider than it started. But they've obviously repaired it so that the mechanics of it are straight. Seems to be tracking quite true now. Oh, as Jack goes very wide again, trying to chase that Ferrari. Meanwhile, it looks like, yeah, the leader is coming up to lap these two. It was there. Where are you? There you go. Brezenchik is about to have an opportunity to use the leader as a stopgap. Oh, this is going to be very, very messy as the Porsche blocks the leader. Well, tries to anyway for a second before realising that he is the leader. It looks like the Russian that's in the lead of the race doesn't have such an enormous pace advantage over these two. Is that the Porsche looking to, or he's looking in front? I highly doubt that Brezenchik is unaware of that luminous orange McLaren behind. He dives to the outside and lets that McLaren straight through Absolutely brilliant driving by Breznicek, and hopefully we'll see something similar from the BMW. And is the Porsche going to be able to cut inside, outside? He's in there now. Is that a slight rub maybe from the Porsche to the BMW? But he's through. For Breznicek is through past Andu, and now only a 22-second gap to make up to Phantom Hamster. But the BMW is not done yet, maybe? Looks like that may have been the advantage that Breznicek needed. Taking advantage of the BMW letting off just slightly too much, it seemed, to let the McLaren through. And now let's see what Breznicek can do. Speaking of the leader, let's ride on board with him for a lap or so. So this is up through the S's. Over here, the front will go light if you go through there fast enough. Back out onto the back straight, and then leave your braking as late as you possibly dare. Stab the brakes into the first part of the inner loop, feather throttle through the outer, and then down the hill into the outer loop. The car again goes light, and through the dip on the exit goes heavy on the steering. Drivers in real life complain about the steering being so heavy. Then now down through the chute, leave your apex as late as possible so you can get a nice drive coming down into what's called the toe of the boot. Haul out the anchor a second, maybe third gear corner on the throttle nice and early for the McLaren. It's very well balanced, obviously. And then up the hill, the car will feel so sluggish and slow because the incline is so steep. Again, onto the brakes, try and keep the car as tight as you can. The Russian here just not bothering with that apex quite yet. And then out of the boot section of the Watkins Glen circuit. Round the penultimate corner, nice flat left-hander, you can run nice and wide on that concrete on the outside, touch of grass, and avoid that wall on the outside. That rumble strip is there for a reason. It very often gets used right to the maximum, and then down through the start-finish straight, and haul out the anchor for this beautiful dipped first corner, and then back up through the hill. The S's. Nice and flat, beautiful to see a well-performing car run around this lap. Our leader with a more or less 30-second gap to the car behind. That McLaren is absolutely on fire. Not literally, but it's a good colour. Missing the apex, choosing to go for a slightly shallower line coming through there. Maybe he's on the way to running out of tyres. 23 litres, he definitely has enough fuel to last him to the end of the race. Breznicek, it looks like, has not been able to get away from Andu just yet. The gap's still under a second. So maybe Andu is just biding his time. Potentially looking for that opportunity to get back through. Molyneux looking at the back of Ringman. Ringman doing exactly the right thing here. Blocking where it's safe to do so and using that performance of the Porsche over the Audi to just stay ahead. Molyneux running a bit wider, obviously trying to get that pace advantage down the start-finish straight. It's very easy when you're in this kind of situation to get target fixation especially with a dazzling colour like that Porsche, whose livery I can't remember the name of. It's a really distinctive livery from the Creventic 24-hour series, which is also very worth watching. They tend to get about as dirty as these cars do as well. Again, Ringman putting up a very stout defence from that very angry Audi behind. Fantastic for Ringman there. Not the quickest, but doing all of the right things that he should be doing now. Staying on the inside. The Audi's obviously got more power coming up the hill, but not enough when they get over the crest. Either that or the Porsche is just able to get him under braking, because they're just getting a little closer. Our leader pits. And now you're going to see all of those times tumble, and maybe we might actually have a final race order. Psycho in the Ferrari is just starting to push up again. 6 laps left to run, 5 laps now. And Atlas Gerin will take the lead. I don't think he's going to lose any. The Russian's not going to lose any more than third, so with 5 laps to go, your order is Atlas Gerin, Psycho, our Russian driver, Deuce, Ticklewish Picklewickle, Enton, Nins, Stevo, Jesse and Phantom Hamster, all having their issues and trials and tribulations this race. I don't think there's a single one there that has been clear. But Psycho is definitely in the hunt now for at the back of that Renault. He can smell the win, with the McLaren having jumped out of the way. Meanwhile, Ringman and Mlonya continue this fight, and VLC might well lose 17th place. That's if Ringman doesn't lose 18th place first. After all this time, and these three are still absolutely glued together. That looks like Psycho's backed off ever so slightly. Meanwhile, the McLaren of the Russian is not done yet. Jump on, well, we won't jump on the roof, we can see the gap to the Ferrari in front. There's your leader, just gone out of view. There's that Ferrari going past, and there's your McLaren. Your top 3 at the end of 31 laps of racing are separated by 2 seconds. If the Russian doesn't overcook it. Even less than that now. Oh, and he's going to go right around the outside, and that is the place done. What is up with Psycho? What's going on? And that was Ringman, it looks like. Had a spin coming out of the outer loop. What on earth? Everyone's going crazy in the last couple of laps. Unless, of course, that the Audi of Bologna got a little bit too greedy when it came to an apex. Although you can't blame him. When you look at the pace of the Audi, it's very much there. And that was the place gone. Just like that, through the first corner. And the leader is going to... The McLaren is not in the lead. He is in the lead. Good grief, what's happened in the past few laps? Psycho has taken juice. Alice Guerin has jumped into the pits. That's what's happened. 3 laps. And that is from 1st to 6th. I'm sure Atlas enjoyed being in the lead. The Russian once again is looking, staring down the barrel of a, I think, maiden win? And there is a Psycho in 2nd place here. Anton, meanwhile, looking at the back of Ticklewish Picklewickle. With how much intent we don't know. There's only 3 laps to go. It's entirely possible that he could take that 5th place from 4th place from Ticklewish Picklewickle. Oh, especially if there's not much rubber left on those tyres. I think these are both struggling. Meanwhile, Atlas, who left the race for so long, now down in 7th behind Nintz. Perhaps those tyres, having those tyres for such a short time wasn't a fantastic idea. The Ginetta is going to block into turn 1, but it doesn't matter. The Mercedes is going around the outside. A bit of an aggressive move, but you can't really argue with it. There's flashing going on for the lapped car in front. He absolutely wants to make sure that he's not waylaid, because that Ginetta will not need a very big gap to be able to get through. Jump back to Phantom Hamster in 9th place. Currently looking at the back of a Ferrari of Steve-O. Looks like that NSX might possibly have the legs on the Ferrari in this very, very late stage of the race. Perhaps. Oh, that was a massive slide for whoever that Lambo was in front. Just put Steve-O off for a second, and suddenly what was looking like a non-points finish for Phantom Hamster. And Psycho's in the pits with 2 laps to go. Psycho has ducked into the pits. And Phantom Hamster is now on the bumper of Steve-O for 8th place and a points haul. And behind him, Jesse is just lining up to have a go as well. Running ever so slightly wide across the curb and getting very loose. We're not going to be... We've got 1 more lap roughly. And the NSX goes very wide, a massive kick of understeer through turn 1. Up through the S's now. Is there anything Hamster can do about Steve-O in front of him? Down the back straight. Around the outer loop. That Ferrari's got no tyres left. But all he needs to do is keep it where the NSX wants to be to get past. Psycho has now come out in 6th place meanwhile and is pressuring the back of that Renault in 5th of Atlas Guerin. It's battle rejoined with a lap to go. Oh, that's disappointing. Tickle-wish pickle-wickle rejoining the track from what looked like a massive wiggle. Tickle-wish pickle-wiggle. A tickle-wish pickle-wickle-wiggle. Try saying that when you're drunk. Loses a place to Atlas Guerin. Meanwhile, I was looking at Phantom Hamster, who is pushing the back of the Ferrari, and that looks like that was a barge a little bit too far for Phantom. That charge well and truly halted, but Steve-O only 5/10 back from Nins, who looks like he's running quite slowly now. Stuck behind a lapped Porsche by the looks of it. Oh, getting a massive wiggle on. I think that may have been a touch, either that or he's really struggling to keep it in a straight line. That might be the case actually. What on earth has happened to Nintz there? Bumper is hanging by a thread. And suddenly, Phantom Hamster on the last lap of the race has only got really the boot section to be able to make it happen. It's going to be make or break for Phantom Hamster in that 7th place finish. Psycho still on the bumper of Atlas Guerin, but it looks like not quite close enough. Phantom Hamster, meanwhile, definitely close enough. Oh, that was a bit mean of Steve-O, parking it on the apex of the corner, forcing the NSX wide and into the wall. That has basically sealed the places for both. But that is that. With Nintz, I think, being attributed a time penalty of 2 seconds. Absolutely. And now we see... Oh, they're all being very calm this time. Apart from someone who has decided they're going to start crashing into each other. Let's see cars that are still racing. Wagner, it looks like, is on his way out. Jack Game... I think that's about it. Your final results then. In 1st place, the Russian whose name I can't pronounce. 2nd place, Will Come Home Juice. 3rd place, Enton, Tickle-wish Pickle-wickle, then Psycho, Atlas Guerin, Phantom Hamster, Nintz, Jesse Gaming, and Steve-O make up your top 10. Brezenchik comes home in 11th, Andu 12th, Wagner 13th, P-Lock, Devil, Jack Game 88, Mlonia, VLC, Thomas D, Ringman, Moto X, and Klaes Landbo coming home in last place. I will hopefully have some people to interview soon, but I am not inclined to pull people from their first session, as that would be a little bit mean. Just waiting to see if anybody wants to come and talk to me. It looks like they're being very quiet tonight, which I don't blame them for. What a very messy race. Yeah. That was a proper race. There's action everywhere. Who might possibly want to come and talk to me? Looks like we are short talking people. But that has been round 1 of season 14 of your GT3 League, and it's been crazy, as we predicted it was going to be. I don't quite know what to take from this at the moment. Good man. I did say that Phantom Hamster would want to come chat. However, pulling him up might be a bit of a challenge. Yeah, I can't do that. That's a shame. Let me see if I can do something clever here. There we go. So, how was your race, Phantom?
It was pretty interesting, actually. Qualifying didn't go quite to plan. It was, I think I got P11 or 12, but managed to get to P7 at the end, which I was quite happy.
Yeah, there was a you dropped back quite dramatically around lap 17. I couldn't work out why.
I don't know. I don't know whether I'd sort of overheated the tyres or what, but I sort of towards the end I was just starting to fly, which was quite.
Yeah, no, I did know there was a lot of people. Well, no, there was 5 or 6 drivers that had been sort of like biding their time, floating around the middle section, who just about 5 or 6 laps from the end, like all of you just got exclamation marks next to your name, and you were flying. It looked as though you'd been looking after the tyres quite well up until that point.
Yeah, I think all that practice in the endurance league has been helping me out for.
Which tomorrow, hey.
Yeah, back to Sakito. I'm a little bit worried because I've been practicing more for this than for that, and I'm a little bit nervous about my setup. But
well, that's what happens when you split your forces.
Yeah, hopefully, because I've got quite a good base setup that worked really last time out, so I'm just sort of adapting that a little bit. But,
yeah. Hopefully it all goes well.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7th place. It was very nearly 6th, wasn't it, as well?
No, to be honest, I was in a battle with Steve and I think it was N9s, but
yeah.
There was some interesting driving that I might have to have a look at.
Yes, I did notice that.
A little bit like there was a bit of brake testing going on, but yeah, it's one of those where, being in the heat of the moment, you see something and think it one thing, and then you look back on it and go, actually, it wasn't.
Yeah. I'm not going to bias you in any way, shape, or form. But I may have said something along those lines in commentary.
Yeah, let's just say there were parts of the circuit where somebody slowed a lot in the middle of a corner, and I nearly went into the back of them a few times. So
yeah,
unfortunately, we didn't hit each other.
Let's be kind for the time being and say they probably ran out of tyre.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't hit each other. It was a close battle, but it was a bit frustrating from my end. But
yeah, absolutely, of course it was.
You know, in the end, I think there was a penalty anyway, so I got the place that I was after. So I don't think I had the pace to get any higher than 7th, to be honest.
No, the NSX is a bit of a tricky beast because it handles really well, even like out of the box. They're lovely cars. But from my experience, they're just a bit down on power.
I was noticing it coming out of the slow stuff,
Yeah.
Sort of medium and high speed, fine, and throwing it through the chicanes was lovely. But coming out of those two hairpins towards the end, it was just everyone. You could just see him driving away, no matter what gear I was doing it in.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, but on the whole, I'm happy with having a car that I can actually push really hard and not end up in the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But actually, I don't even know what track we're at next. I'm getting all my calendars confused already.
I haven't even looked.
Give me a second. I shall do the thing. See, the problem is that I've got my push to talk button set up to the same thing as I have to go forwards a page.
Ah, it's always awkward.
Oh yes, race calendar, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca.
Oh good.
Oh good.
Happy with that.
Yeah.
I like Laguna, and it's nice and twisty.
Oh,
So,
believe me, I am going to be very, very jealous of you guys racing out there.
yeah, it's in fact there's a spate of good tracks for me, because there's been Donington, Watkins Glen, and Sakito tomorrow. So I'm quite a happy boy at the minute.
Oh, I'm now looking at the rest of the of the championship, and wow, they're pulling some. Yeah, we're going to be going to Hockenheim in December, the classic one.
Yeah, I think I'll be at the back for that.
Oh really? Oh no. I reckon because the superior handling through the chicanes. If you can get a decent qualifying lap, you'll be able to hold them up.
Hopefully, but I mean that's probably my highest finish for quite a while, and it's. I think last season I was having a bit of problems with hardware, and I began to think I can't drive anymore. But
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit happier now.
Good. That's fantastic. That's exactly what we like to hear. Right, I'm going to drag you back into the other room then, because I do have someone else to interview. But thank you very much for your time. I'm glad you had a good race, and hopefully see you at Laguna Seca and you'll have even more fun.
Yeah, hopefully. And I'll see you tomorrow night for endurance.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to have even more fun out there as well.
Oh yeah, throwing a CLK around.
Absolutely, and no more Chloe to get in the way. God, that
she dropped out.
Yeah, she dropped out. That was a massive wink, by the way. She wasn't getting in anyone's way.
Excellent.
There you go. Right, I'll see you then, mate. Have fun.
See you. Take care.
And we are going to have Ticklewish Picklewickle, whose name never gets boring to say.
Oh.
And you had a lovely little Ticklewish Picklewickle Wiggle approaching the end of that race. Was that a fun one for you?
I mean, fun wouldn't really be the word I would use, but I mean, yeah, I was struggling a lot with oversteer, generally throughout the race.
It showed.
And I had a couple of half spins, and also yeah, the one spin that you probably caught on camera. So
I think I did catch one of them.
yeah, because I was ahead of Deuce before I went into the pits, but yeah, I just lost the whole heap of time when I was sort of in the clear air. So, but I mean, P4 is still nice.
Absolutely.
I'm quite satisfied.
No, absolutely. It's definitely the points make prizes, and as long as you're somewhere there, all you need is a lucky week, and suddenly you find yourself fighting for the championship lead.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, absolutely worth it. But just looked up the next race. We're going all the way over to Laguna Seca.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's quite a tight and twisty track, so that's hopefully gonna suit the Ginetta, as that thing is very oversteery and has a lot of downforce. So
yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like you need to settle the rear end down a bit, so you can get the traction out off of the corkscrew.
oh yeah, that's definitely gonna be something that I have to look out for. But I think generally the track will suit the Ginetta quite well.
Yeah, no, it'd be really good to see a Janetta fighting for the lead with the best of them.
Yeah, yeah, and shout out to Gramat Seika, who won the race in the McLaren. That was
Hey.
think maybe that was the first McLaren win in at least quite.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the McLaren's normally reasonably down on pace as far as that's concerned. But yeah, no, fantastic win for him. What's his name again?
His forum name is Gramat Seika. But yeah, I mean his in-game name is quite hard to pronounce. I would.
It's really hard to read for an Englishman.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, because it's not the Latin alphabet and all that stuff.
Nope. So yeah, no. I went the entire time calling him Russian. I take it he's actually Russian.
I think he is, yes, or Ukrainian.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, I'll see if I can find out before next week.
Yeah. But his forum name is a little bit more easy to pronounce.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you stick it in a DM so that maybe I can remember next week?
Yeah, totally.
Brilliant. Cool, thank you. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the Endurance League.
Yeah, definitely.
All of the fun times that have been had now with Project Cars and AOR.
It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. I'll let you go, and you have a lovely evening, and I'll say goodbye to the lovely people who are watching the video.
Right, and you too, mister.
Dear. And as I said, thank you very much for watching. I have been Eike Sky. This was the Apex Online Racing GT3 League, Season 14, Round 1 from Watkins Glen. I do hope that you all enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to subscribe, as Nightbot has been very nicely spamming in the chat. We have a website which you can go and converse with other petrol heads there, as well as partake in competitions similar to this one, which will be broadcast here as well. If that is about it. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.